positive energy out, things like that. Like, I date it back to like, like once again, back in the background, like going to church. I never really understood the concept of like tithing, like giving money to the church. Like, why do I have to give 10%? I didn't get it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, where does it say in the Bible you gotta give 10%? So for me, in a way, like things like this, like being able, like, all right, I'm gonna give $100, couple $100 here to this charity or to that. Like any time that I have an opportunity to tithe into the world to a place where I know it's gonna go, then I'm much more happy to do that.
Oh yeah.
So
If you know where it's
those guys out
going,
there in Ghana, like to see them train on that
yeah.
table is a huge thing. And sometimes, and and the beauty of it is those guys are thankful beyond what they should be.
Can
You
you
know?
imagine what it must have been like to sit next to them when they opened that up? And did they know it was coming?
Yeah, they knew it was coming. It
Oh,
took a while to
hey,
fit,
if
man.
it
It
would
took
have
a
been a
while to
surprise, they really would have went nuts.
shipping was a
But still,
shipping
even
was
so, they probably
another
never
thing.
seen a table like that before. You know what I mean?
And yeah, Lucas sent him the entire starter pack for like training and everything else. He sent him
Nice.
shirts, all kinds of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
he's the man. He's the man.
This sport reaches people. It's weird how it connects us all from all over the world. Like, where's he from? Ghana?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
otherwise, without the sport, you may have never heard of this guy. You know what I mean?
You might think people might think it's silly, but the reality of it is the arm wrestling community. You got family everywhere you go, and now
Yeah.
we got this armband app. I got a shameless
Yeah.
plug for
Shout
the
out.
arm.
Go ahead and plug it. Go ahead and plug it.
Shout out to Devin Larry. Are you kidding me? This guy is globetrotting right now, promoting the sport. Anybody who criticizes Devin Larry in any way, shape, or form for anything in his world at all is crazy because this dude is doing nothing but spreading positivity. 100%. This app is going to, like, I feel like if I ever have, like, when I start traveling again for work, I'm gonna use this armband app everywhere I go. I'm gonna be able to meet face to face some of this arm wrestling family that's really out there. So shout out to
Wow.
Devin Larry, everybody involved in the armband app. And if you haven't downloaded the armband app, what are you waiting for? Please download it and actually register and get this thing moving as much as it possibly can because it's going to allow, and it already is allowing. And I don't know how much you've been involved in it, but I've been hit up with from a bunch of people who are just like what you would call quote unquote fans who have said to me like, hey, I've been following this sport for a year and I've never put my elbow on a table. Well, let's
Yeah.
get it going. This armband app is doing big things.
It's blowing up quick. I heard about it one day, and then I started seeing a bunch of people post their names on there, and now it's exponentially growing pretty quick.
It's
Uh,
unbelievable.
is there any updates as far as things that may be able to do in the future that aren't quite available to us yet that you can?
I don't know. I know they're talking about, Devin's wanting to do like build a record and all that other stuff. To me, that doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not going to go have challenge matches. Like to me, that's not something that I'm worried about.
it's like
But
Pokemon Go, but you do the challenge match.
exactly, it's Pokemon Go. That's what it is.
Yo,
It's,
sure.
it's arm wrestling Pokemon. No, I love it because I honestly, for me, I don't need to do anything. The
Right.
only other thing that I think would be nice to really put into the armband app would be a way to like register events,
Yeah.
and send
Yeah,
auto
you could
notifications.
be somewhere and you could find the events instead of just finding the people. I think that's a good
Yeah,
idea. That's a good
I
idea.
would absolutely love to
Or
be
even
able to be.
training facilities for practice as well.
Yes, I would love to see the app. Like, if we're starting to think outside the box, I would love to be able to expand the radius and send out like auto invites to events and practices
Yeah.
where you'd be like, you just hit a button, auto invite everybody within 250 miles. That
Oh,
would be really cool
yeah.
because one of the hardest things on Facebook right now with getting events and practices out there is the invitation. And I think a lot of
Probably
people don't
very
understand.
time consuming.
Yeah, and people were like, "Well, how do you get so many people at Keystone?" Well, we get so many people at Keystones because we directly invite them on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, but a majority of the people that show up to Keystones are getting a direct invite, and that takes a lot of time to scroll through 5,000 people on your Facebook and send direct invites to them.
I think that people underestimate how much work's done that you never hear about with these events, putting them together, making sure they run smoothly, how far in advance you're actually putting in the work. You know what I mean? Because you work with James.
Absolutely.
You work with James Reed, so you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I'll explain to you. I can explain to you James and my relationship real quick, real
Yeah,
easily.
do that, please. Do that,
And
please.
yeah, he so he 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 does all the work. He does all the work. Don't tell him that though, okay, James? You're not allowed to see this. If you see that, you're a douchebag, and I'm not saying anything positive about you at all. But let's be real. James does all the work. Okay, I all I do is promote and show up and work. But like without guys like James Reed, there is no arm wrestling. And people will be like, oh, somebody has to be making money off of this. Listen, guys, arm wrestling is not making anybody rich. Trust and believe. So we host the Keystone every year and everything. And this past year, we were blessed enough. It went really, really smooth.
Oh
We
my
had no
God.
injuries. We had a good turnout with respect to COVID and everything else. We did not make like there's not money to be made here. The only way to make money in reality is to get sponsorships, and we are not getting sponsorships at this point. So there's not. Yeah, if anybody thinks that people are making money off of arm wrestling tournaments, they're very misinformed.
Yeah, everybody that's usually in this has some kind of regular job as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely.
This is sort of transitioning into my next topic here. It's the good and the bad and the ugly of this sport.
Okay.
It's I'm the more involved I get, the more you see there's a mix of people who aren't in it for the right reasons, and
Right.
we don't have to get. This is a positive minded conversation, so we don't have to get into details of this, that, or whatever the thing. I'm basically interested in your ideas as to how you think, Paul, and how we can grow this sport. From your perspective,
Well, I'm not,
what
like
do you think? What do you think's good with the sport right now? What do you think is bad? What do you think it can we build on? Just in a broad base. You don't have to give me a whole book, but I'm just curious as to your opinion.
I mean, like, so that's kind of it's a broad topic, and like if you want to, I'm not 100% sure if we might be talking about a similar thing that we're alluding to here about like I think the one negative thing that's kind of glaring is that there is a level of um, I'm trying to word this correctly. There's a level of like in every sport, in every aspect in life, you're going to have haters, right? So haters is a common word, and everything else. There's going to be people that hate on certain things, hate on certain people, and it's such it's a dumb way to call it. Like I don't want to call it haters because it's an
It's
overused word.
cliche, but we're obviously in agreement that the problems in this sport are not money related because not enough people are making that kind of money.
Right.
So the other common thing I hear is it's egos and jealousy and hating, like you say. Was this sport always like that, or has it just been something that's recently happened over the past 10 years? I guess it don't even matter. I guess it don't even matter really.
I haven't been around long enough to really say. I think in every aspect and avenue of life, you're going to have this. So,
Yeah, I think you're right. It's almost like trying to find a job that fits the mold of what you think a job should be. There's bullshit at every job. I think you just
right.
like you. I think the best remedy is just like, and you've already answered it, earlier, where whenever you notice someone in the room or maybe someone you worked with for one occasion or whatever, so when you notice their energy is negative or they're negative mind and they don't feed into the direction that you're going, you just cut them out quick. I guess that's pretty much all you can do because you're not gonna fucking solve any. I mean, it's like you said. There's with all the bullshit going around, there's always gonna be people like this as long as you know what I mean.
Right. So I mean, I think that that's I think, and I've only been in the sport for 4 years, so I can't talk about what happened a while too long ago with like I don't know. But what I
Yeah.
can say is when I came into the sport, there was a lot of people. There was a big divide between what you would call, I don't know, mainstream arm wrestling that wasn't really mainstream and isn't really yet, and the people who wanted to go mainstream and the people who wanted to keep AAA nationals, you know, and or whatever, or WAF, like keep things the way it was.
Yeah.
I think early on there was a big divide there. You had like the arm wrestling purists who wanted
Yeah.
to keep it the way it was, and then you had like the arm
Yeah.
wrestling progressives. And I think over time, and maybe it's just because of everything that's happened in the world, losing AAA nationals, unified nationals, and everything like went down. We have no nationals now. I think with that we kind of lost that divide. I see less judgment towards like mainstream arm wrestling as it relates to like WAL or Zloty or like top 8. I see less negativity towards that stuff because I do think as far as like
You
our
say it's
growth of
more towards the local and regional level that you see this stuff in?
maybe maybe I don't once again I think there's plenty. I think more tournaments are better. So the school of thought, and I had a bunch of arguments like early on with like with Gabi and Herman, not arguments, but like I defended my case, that I think more arm wrestling is better. They said less arm wrestling is better. Make the competition bigger, more, do away with novice, do away with amateurs, put everybody in the same class, make it one big huge thing, and everybody pulls and they have something to look forward to. And I can't disagree with that more, because the reality of it is, in any sport, if you want it to be professional, there needs to be development. There can't just be an open class. That's nonsense. Like if you want to play in the NFL, you have to play high school, then
Right.
college. There has to be a farm league. Some people might have to go to Canada or overseas before they do that. There is development needed for progression in a sport to make it professional. We can't just say, okay, hey guys, we're gonna limit tournaments and all we're gonna have is nationals. And that's your only chance to develop. And oh, by the way, we're only gonna give you 2 different classifications. That's nonsense, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
think we need more tournaments. I think there should be a tournament every weekend if we can make it happen. I listen to Ryan Bowen, and they don't get to compete over there. Like the
Yeah, it's weird.
competition is not available.
I was talking to Jake Ward,
Yeah,
and I was wondering, I talked to him for the past couple months, and I was just wondering if he was going to any events and like kind of doing what we do, and most of the stuff he has to do from his house because he can't even leave his fucking house.
yeah.
And,
Listen, guys, especially in PA, we are super blessed, and
yeah,
don't ever
no
forget
doubt,
that.
no
We
doubt.
got guys like Nitro, like him or not. We got guys like Steve Rosenblum. We got guys all over the state who are putting out tournaments in a good frequency, and that is irreplaceable. That experience that you gain from that is like, imagine being Jake Ward. He can't arm wrestle. Well, how do you stay motivated when you don't
Yeah,
know in competition?
yeah,
And I
no,
don't think these guys really get it. And I've said it to them before. I said, listen, we have tournaments every weekend. You guys don't realize that. Like, are these tournaments great tournaments all the time? No. But I've never gone
no,
to a tournament where I didn't have fun. Never one time.
right.
I went to the one Steve Rosenblum had in that fraternal order of, I don't know, something, whatever. He went to the boxing association. There was 14 people in that competition. And I had more fun at that thing than I did at national.
No shit. That's awesome, man.
Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is, man. Like, we need the competition. We need the availability of it. We want to grow.
So is Ryan Bowen even able to come to do? He's not able to do anything right now.
Nope. No, those guys are like on super lockdown. Australia's crazy. My
Hey,
boy.
who's this bad dude?
What's up, Link?
What's his
He's
name?
been,
Like,
Lincoln, yeah. He's been hovering around here the whole time. He's been
hey
trying.
man, he looks like a baller, man. Is he playing any sports?
He's going into wrestling next week. He
How
did jiu-jitsu for a year. He's still just a pup though. He's only 5.
how old is he?
He's 5. Yeah. How old are you, boy?
Dude,
Yeah.
he's pretty big dude for 5, man.
He got some turn out.
Yeah,
He got some bear claws on him though. He got these
man.
catcher mitts. They're gonna be
Hey,
all right.
what are you gonna do when he's taller than you and he's 13 years old, man?
I'm gonna bust his ass just still.
Listen,
All right, bro. You
Listen,
got it.
bro, one thing I can tell you, you can never beat dad up, even when